Hey guys, Jim here. Welcome back once again. Today we're going to take a look at a new limited offering from Michael Zeba called the S4 Angry Bird. And you might be able to tell why it's called the Angry Bird just by looking at that cool pocket clip. Now what we're looking at here in the S4, it's basically a newer iteration of the S1 and S2 models. And let me just kind of put this out here just so that you can see them in comparison. So there's the S1, there's the S2, and now we have the S4. And the only real difference is going to be how much thicker the titanium is, especially on the lock bar. It's a really thick lock. But as far as the blade design goes, the overall design, the grinds and everything, all the same. As each one gets retired, the new one comes out and it brings out a different flavor. So now you have this decorated bolster look here that's different than the decorated bolster look that was on these. So there you have that. And I'll talk more about these little guys here in a minute. I've already done a video on this one. This was a very special one. If you haven't seen the video, I'll try to remember to put the link at least in the description below. And this actually kind of leads well into this because mine was made, the only one that was made this way with actual rose gold for the back spacer and for the clip. So when he made this for me, he added rose gold into my clip. This is not how they're typically made available. This very specially cast clip is actually the biggest reason for owning this knife. The way that he does this has never really been done in the knife industry before. He employs a lot of jewelry techniques into the making and the finishing of his knives, and that's what he's done here. What I still haven't figured out is the process in which he has bonded actual real rose gold to titanium. I don't know how the fuck he does that. He says it is a proprietary, kind of thing. It is a secretive thing, but it really is amazing. Now mine looks a little bit less angry than the other dozen or so Angry Birds that have been made because they have red screws. I too have red screws in the box. He put the black in here for me because probably the red clashes with the rose gold. Probably doesn't look all that great. But I will show you the different options that are available to you when you buy this knife. So let's talk about the basic specifications of the S4 as it ships. You're looking at, 3.625 inch blade, which is kind of the sweet spot for me. I like to be between 3.5 and 3.85 inches. That's kind of where my sweet spot is. So this falls right into that. I love the harpoon. I love the top swedge. I love everything the way it was ground. It really is just freaking badass. Close length, the handle length is 5 inches, so it's still a good full-size knife. Keep in mind, this is really thick titanium, so this is a heavy knife. This may not be your absolute end-all be-all choice for EDC, just because it is so heavy, but I think it's pretty cool. It weighs over 7.5 ounces, so please do keep that in mind. The steel used on this is AEBL, Bowler AEBL, which is really quite fantastic steel. As a matter of fact, Michael's been bugging me forever to start using AEBL on the knives that I make. It's cool stuff. It takes an absolute ridiculous razor edge and maintains that edge for a good amount of time. And it's also very easy to resharpen for the customer. So it's the kind of steel that we should be seeing more often, and we see it a lot in high-end kitchen knives and stuff, and I think we're going to start seeing it more and more in the high-end custom knife market, so keep your eyes out for that. He hardens these to 59 to 60 Rockwell hardness, which is fantastic, and it is gliding on cage bearings. It takes nothing. Look how easy that is. Just to get that to flip out. It is an absolute rocket. And listen to that lockup. And that lockup is also achieved on steel lockup because you do have that replaceable steel lock face. So, I mean, everything on this knife was just done right. I'll give you some close-ups. My favorite part of it, really honestly, is the compound ground, nice high belt satin finish blade. Just freaking gorgeous. There is Michael's maker's mark. Nice clean edge, very even edge. There's the decoration into that bolster area. Everything is done in a very, very fine stone wash. I mean, this is glass, just glass smooth. It almost feels like there's a resin or something over it. I don't know, it's really, really, really smooth. There's your blackened titanium backspacer. Really well done. You have the lanyard hole opening here. Give you a nice close-up look at the Angry Bird. Really nicely articulated, really beautifully done. Again, that rose gold is just striking in there, very, very cool. And you see the clip is very functional. It's not just for looks. It's actually really easy to get in and out of the pocket, and it's got really, really strong retention, so it's a really well-made clip. He's got jimping on the front face of the flipper, so your finger is never going to slide off of it. Nicely matched from the blade to the frame. Nice clean look. Very deep jimping on the spine of the blade. Look how dramatic that grind is. Whew. Damn. Now, by way of comparison, again, all of these are based off the same model, so you're going to get the grinds, the same blade. This was the one he gifted to me, very kindly made. I've bought all my other ones, but he made this as a gift to match my Hellcat. That's actually my license plate, and obviously my car is done in the sublime green with the black hood, so he kind of matched that up. Did a finish on here that was really wild. He and I both are Harley-Davidson fans, and this very closely replicates that crackled finish that you see on Harley's motors, and a lot of companies' motors, not just Harley. So I really dig this. This is one that I carry. I probably carry this more than any other single knife that I own right now. It really is a go-to for me. The only one right now that I'm carrying more is a new knife that he just sent me, and I kind of want to do a dedicated video just on these. That's the Bold series, and this is my daily carry Bold. Love the finish work. I mean, everything he does is just fantastic, and unique finishes, things that you don't see everywhere else. He teamed up with Thai Survival with Esteban to do his snake pattern in the anodized finish on the frame. But as you see, these frames are very, very different in their thickness. This is a fully contoured frame. This is a slab-bodied frame with chamfered edges. So even while there are some obvious similarities, there are also glaring differences. It's a completely different blade profile. However, they are ground very similarly. They're both frame locks, done in the same basic overall shape. This obviously, again, has more contouring. This one does not. So he really makes something for everybody. If you ever picked up this one and said, you know what, I really like this knife, but it's a little too heavy and it feels a little too rounded. I kind of like that slab-sided feel. Well, that's when you buy a Bold. So the Bold is basically a slimmer version, lighter weight version of the S series. And for my money, I kind of have really been enjoying carrying the Bold a lot. This one I've only carried maybe once or twice. I love the finish because it's cool and it's unique. It's just not really me. And somebody will be like, oh, hell yeah, it's you. Look how pimpy that is. I reach for this almost twice as much as any of my other ones. But the focus of this video is the S4, so we'll continue on with that. Let me show you the packaging and all the things that you can expect if you're lucky enough to find one of these. Because at this point, they are an exclusive, by the way, to Fort Henry Custom Knives, so you want to go to Fort Henry's website. And he only made about a dozen of these, so I don't know when you're going to find one. But if you catch one on the secondary market, these are the things that you should be expecting. So it's going to be in his case. You're going to get a screwdriver included so you can change out your pocket clip. Because the one thing he told me when he was developing these, he goes, I can't wait to get this Angry Bird clip out there. I love it. I think it's great. But there's going to be that guy that goes, oh, I can't stand that bird clip. I love everything about the knife, but I can't stand the bird clip. He goes, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to offer a standard pocket clip. And not only that, I'm going to offer them a tool so they can change it out and make it really, really, really simple. So this is a T8. Yeah, it's a T8 Torx. Very simple. And as you see in here, my red screws, which apparently I've lost one somehow. Holy shit. I only have one red screw. And then here is the Angry Bird lanyard skull. One of the interesting things that he does some really cool beads. He custom made beads for me for my knives that you can see here. Just really, really, really cool. So I mean, the guy's an artist. He does such amazing work. You know, he did win at Blade 2 years ago. He won Best New Knife Maker. He is a member of the Knife Makers Guild right now. He's growing and growing and growing and doing all kinds of crazy cool things. He's focusing very heavily right now on his kitchen knives. I have one of his kitchen knives. It's actually my wife's knife. Unbelievable. I mean, yeah, it's a $700 kitchen knife, but holy shit. Beautiful, amazing Sanmai. The quality is astounding. It cuts through everything effortlessly. It just seems like everything that Mike does, he does to perfection. And he does it in a way that nobody else does. And he somehow finds a way to keep his prices down. When you look across all of these, now again, taking out of the equation the custom things like, you know, rose gold and things that he's done, you're looking at knives that you're going to spend less than $500 on. In today's world, a knife built to these standards in a custom knife, they're going to run you somewhere in the $800 range and maybe more, depending on what maker it is. And have a very long wait. You're looking under $500 for the standard version of any of these. That's insane. Truly, truly insane. So I love the fact that he's got the respect for his customers to look at him and go, you know what, I can charge whatever the hell I want. You know, I've got the name now and I've got the reputation. Everybody knows the quality. So I can kind of charge what I want. However, I want you to have a knife that you're going to enjoy using. That you're not, and I've discussed this with him at length. He says, I don't want somebody to have a knife that they just feel is for showing off or sitting in a fucking glass box. He says, I want them to have a knife that they enjoy actually carrying and enjoy actually using, and to do so without fear. And he says, if you spend $450, $475, somewhere in that range for a knife, for a good high quality custom made flipper, people are probably going to use it more often than they would a $1,000 or $1,500 custom made flipper. And when the ergonomics are done this well, when it fits the hand this nicely, when you have a good sizable blade, you've got beautiful grinds, you've got good quality steel, solid lockup, incredible action, why wouldn't you carry it? This is exactly the kind of knife that you should be EDCing. Now again, I think the one caveat to that is the weight. I'm not going to lie, these are seriously heavy knives. What I would love to see, if I could make any suggestion at all, is very large and deep pockets cut out of the inside of the titanium frame on both sides and really, really reduce the weight, because they are heavy. I'm not going to lie. I'm not the kind of person that runs around wearing lightweight shorts very often, but if I were, this is a knife that's just a no-go. I wear jeans pretty much every day, so it almost doesn't matter how much a knife weighs. It's sitting in a jeans pocket. It's not really that big of a deal. But I do know for a lot of people, they're very strict about their EDC. It's got to be under a certain blade length. It's got to be under a certain overall length. It's got to be slim. It's got to be under a certain weight. And I honestly think this may fall outside of their parameters in a lot of ways. He does make mini versions of all of the variations that he makes, whether it be, I think there's a mini bold now too. Don't quote me on that, but I believe there's a mini bold. I know there were mini S1s, mini S2s, mini S3s. So that would reduce it a little bit, but it's still going to be a fat, chunky, heavy knife for the size that is as well. So that's the only suggestion, and I don't even want to call it a negative or a con, but it would definitely be a suggestion. I would love to see him break away from the S designs. I think they're all fantastic, but when you're thinking Michael Zeba, you tend to think of this exact blade shape, this exact blade grind, this exact look to the overall shape of the frame. I'd love to see something wild and different, and I would definitely love to see something lighter weight. But then again, when he's only offering, I mean, some knives he's made as few as 5. Some he'll do a dozen to 15, maybe 20. On this one, he did 20 of these. These are long gone, long sold out. I think he made maybe about the same amount on this finish of the bold. He made a dozen of these. He did an exclusive for another dealer of the Angry Bird with heat-colored titanium frames. He only made 5 or 6 of those. So the one thing to keep in mind is, even if you do see a plethora of these knives, you're only seeing a handful of any particular iteration. And I think that's kind of cool. It makes every one that you buy from him special and unique. And listen, when we're spending a good chunk of change, I don't care that these are affordable in the custom knife spectrum of the world. You're still spending almost $500. You want it to be unique. You want it to be special to you. And that's something that Michael has been offering very consciously over the past couple of years. And I'm excited to see the things that he's cooking up for the future, because he keeps on doing new cool shit. I am a huge fan. I've been a huge fan since the G2. I did the video on that. I love his style, and I love the way that he's down to earth in the way that he approaches knife making. He wants to make you a knife that you're going to use, period. They look good. They've got unique finishes that nobody else in the industry is doing. He's using processes that nobody else is using. Who else is making incredible molds, casting their clips like this, all this detail, and then some, and again, I don't know how he does it, getting solid rose gold. I don't want to say impregnated, because it's not impregnated into the material, into the titanium, but it done in a fashion where it bonds and it stays together. I don't know how he does it. And that's one of the coolest things about any knife, when you can look at some little detail and go, I wonder how he did that. That's when a knife tends to feel more special to you. And in a lot of cases, when you look at his knives, you think, I wonder how he did that. Anyway, that's it. That's my little presentation on this knife. As you can tell, I'm a fan. I love the knife. I apologize, I can't lay it down like this because it just does that because of the clip. I'm a big fan of the knife. I think it's just badass. You guys have seen it on my Instagram if you follow me. And a lot of his knives, a lot of the time, because I really do truly enjoy carrying them. It's one thing if I just go, oh, hey, here's a cool knife on this video, and then you never ever see me carry it. You see me carrying a Zieba all the time, usually several times in the same week, because I am a fan, because they are well made, and I think that they're an extraordinary value. So definitely check him out. You can look at the stuff that he's doing on his website, especially the kitchen knives. I've thought about bringing my kitchen knife out here and showing it to you, but I'll be honest with you, I really don't know much about kitchen cutlery. I don't know all of the applications that you would really use them for to give you a well-rounded review. I realize my own limitations, and I don't want to insult you by coming out here and going, hey, look how cool this is. I don't know what the fuck it does, but it sure is cool. That's just not who I am. Again, you can see pictures of that on my Facebook and my Instagram and all that. It is an amazing knife. My wife and I have gotten a lot of use out of it. cuts extremely well. And I mean, to me, that's all it needs to do. And sure, it's a cool looking showpiece because it's very exotic, but I probably won't do a video on it because I don't have the expertise in the kitchen or in the kitchen cutlery world to really tell you why it may be better or maybe not as good as somebody else's, because I just don't know. But when it comes to tactical style folders, I got you covered. All right, guys, I'm out of here for now. I'll catch you on the next video.